Okay, so some of the types of management strategies that farmers can earn points for include things like field buffer strips. So if they plough or graze cattle straight up to the edge of the river, you will have lots of nutrients like nitrates and phosphates washing into the river, and you'll also have soil erosion that can go straight into the river. What they can do is they can put in a field boundary or a buffer strip, and that will go along the edge of the river and just be allowed to grow naturally. So it'll be natural grassland, sort of permanent grassland, and that will intercept any nutrients runoff or erosion before it gets into the river. So the river is protected. So first one is a field buffer strip, and that protects rivers. The next thing they could do is to reinstate or improve hedgerows. So hedges are typically flailed, is what it's called, and that cuts them right back. If it's done over a long period of time, it can take a lot of the life out of the hedge, and it can kill things like flowers and remove berries and habitats for small mammals and insects. So we can have money to pay for reinstating the hedgerows around field boundaries or stone walls in upland areas. So stone walls are very important for things like lizards. So we can grow it back and we can lay the hedge properly. So that provides an improved habitat. So hedgerow drywall. It's called a drywall because it's got no cement holding it together, or ditch management. And that is for wildlife habitats. The other thing we can do is to protect infield trees. So infield trees, they often have very old typically, so they're going to have dead wood in them that's good for insects. By having this mature tree in the center of the field, it takes some of the farmers' agricultural land away because it's overshaded, but it does provide them like cattle with shade and protection and stuff. Farmers, if they plough right up to the bottom of a tree, will eventually kill it because it affects the roots. So it's sort of payments to avoid damaging them any further, give them a little buffer zone around them and things like that. So protect infield trees, and that provides a wildlife habitat. Put that one there. Buffer strips are over here. Just label that one. There you go. They could be paid for planting beetle banks. So these are, if you plough your land and have intensive agricultural crops like monocultures, there isn't much space for natural predators or insects to be there. So what you can do is leave areas of natural sort of permanent grassland, like as little strips, as a beetle bank, and beetles are natural predators of a lot of agricultural pests, insects. So that is why that is beneficial. It also provides then food for farmland birds. so beetle banks, which provide habitats for natural predators. Other things farmers can do are things like have low input pasture, and this would result in lots of wildflowers. And the wildflowers then obviously have lots of pollinators and insects and all the things that would predate them, like birds and mammals. You could also have things like planting wild bird seeds. And this is to help promote overwintering birds, so provide winter food for birds. And there's lots of things you can do to prevent erosion as well as field buffer strips. So you can have things like ploughing across contours, so the flow of water is less effective, leaving stubble and stuff like that. So reducing soil erosion, and this protects rivers. Farmers can also get higher payments, so they can get paid more if they agree to undertake some more intrusive or extra schemes. So this is things like wildflower, grass, field margins. So a field margin is like the edge of a field. So rather than ploughing all the way to the hedge, you leave a couple of meters, and that's really great for insects and seeds and flowers. You could have unharvested, conservation, field headlands for winter bird food. So instead of harvesting it all, you just leave a bit of it and then the birds can eat that, a bit like leaving stubble. You can restore sort of traditional farm um, techniques. So this could be wet grassland. So this means blocking up drains and stuff like that to increase the water level. And this is for waders and wildfowl. Or you could have water meadows, which is a really old method of managing permanent pasture where you flood it in the spring and the flooding warms the soil and you get a slightly earlier growth of grass. You can get additional payments for maintaining or restoring things like salt marshes, sand dunes, hedgerows, so like in reinstalling them where they've been dug out in the past, moorland, orchards, ponds, which used to be quite a big feature on a lot of farms, but they've mostly been filled in now, and woodlands, and also allowing public access. Um, you've got some additional, like specific schemes that you can have, things like skylark patches. So these are patches left in the middle of fields where skylarks, a type of farmland songbird, can nest, and they won't be that their eggs or nests won't be damaged when they harvest um, in the summer. You might choose to keep it as low input grasslands.